Alright guys, so I had something really weird happen yesterday. We were doing a live stream and I have the 7300 over here hooked up like I usually do. And these guys were on the radio talking about something. They were talking about not being able to get a 13 DIN pin plug for an icom 706, but they didn't know what kind of plug it was anyway. They were talking about, keying an amplifier. So I tried to chime in there and give them the information about what plug it was, but they couldn't hear me, which isn't normal for 100 watts. They should have heard me. So I reached down here to go plug in my amplifier, this one here, the Ten-Tech Centurion, which apparently was already on but not plugged in because I share a charging function here with our inverter. Anyway, I just have a receptacle. It's fed with 12 gauge wire, and then plug in whatever amp I want. And I use these type of cords. Well, as soon as I plugged it in, it turned on and the radio went quiet. And I looked up and the radio was off. And I didn't really assess the situation real fast. I think I went and looked over here and determined that the power supply was off, but it didn't look like this. This has a switch. It's been replaced. It's a circuit breaker, actually. If you look at it here, you'll see it says reset. It's actually off of a 120 volt power strip. So it can click. But I didn't hear it do anything. And I'm pretty sure I looked over it here and what I saw was no lights out of the meter. I didn't test for voltage. I think what I did was I went like this and this real fast, and then probably noticed the lights come back on. Turned the radio on, the radio came back on. Felt like it was kind of acting strange, but anyway, I put my tuner into the dummy load and went to go key up the radio and thought things looked a little funny, and so then I put it on FM. I was only seeing about 50 watts. So I then turned everything off. People had suggested on the live stream, take the amp out of line. There might be something wrong. Might be some kind of power came out of the amp, and shut everything down. So that's what I did. And then after panicking kind of a little bit, because the radio is only 3 weeks old, and then I've had problems with 7300s before, so I know they're sensitive to certain things. So I shut everything down. The radio was off for at least 5 or 10 minutes before I could get all the coax cable rerouted from there. I also pulled the amplifier out and checked to see if there was any kind of voltage on the chassis, on the input. I did measure with the fluke meter on the case in AC mode with just one probe on it, about 0.25 volts AC on the chassis, which I think could be just phantom voltage readings. Anyway, so nothing looked funny there, and I got the radio turned back on, and it seemed like it's working fine. I checked all the bands, 100 watts on everything. So I don't know what the hell happened, but something caused something to happen. The only thing I can think of is the amplifier was on. I plugged it in. The transformer inside of here caused the field to collapse and sent an impulse or something and caused the power supply to shut off. I don't really know. I haven't had a chance to open up the amplifier and take a look in there. Nothing smells funny in anything, so I'm not really sure what happened. So I'm actually going to use this one for a while. But I have seen where I think on an SB220 I could measure some voltage on the input of the amp, so kind of makes me wonder, so I've removed the 7300 and I'm going to use, some other radios until I figure out what's going on, ones that I don't have to worry about. I've also removed the 710 that was over here. I've set those aside, and I've got enough radios where I can just use different stuff, but I really don't like what happened, and I don't have an answer, so I don't know. I should probably pull out the 901, but I really think you're not going to hurt a tube hybrid radio. Something back feeds into the PA deck, but solid state radios, I think, yeah. So I don't know what happened. I'm hoping it was just the power supply. It kind of happened so fast, and I really didn't. It was like a car accident. You don't really recall exactly what happened. So anyway, I'm not really sure what did happen, but it caught my attention.